and welcome to another Vlogtober. I am thinking of doing some sewing today. I've been wanting to use some fabrics that I bought a while ago, and I'm thinking of using this fabric here to make a dress for myself. This is a flannel, so it's really nice, soft, like brushed cotton, and yeah, I really want to get this used because obviously it's quite autumnal colours. I was thinking of combining two patterns. I've made a penny dress from Colette a couple of times now, usually around this time of year as well, but I didn't really want to make a penny dress this time. There's quite a lot of work goes into it, and it has like a separate bodice to skirt, which is not really what I'd wanted to do. So I'm thinking of combining two patterns, the penny dress and this dress pattern, which I think was free with a magazine a while back. But I like this one because it hasn't got a separate bodice. It's just kind of like a, I don't know if you'd call it an A-line, but it's quite just a kind of skims kind of a dress. And there's a separate front left and right panels and separate back left and right panels too. So what I was thinking of doing was using this for the main dress pattern, and instead of joining the two center fronts is making a front shirt placket. So it's kind of like a shirt dress, like a button down dress, using this, but using the neckline of the penny dress. So this has a collar and, you know, like a collar stand and everything, so using the neckline from this on that dress, and hopefully it'll work out. I've just dropped the other pattern, and I was thinking of using kind of the sleeves from this one, but extending them so they're a bit longer. So rather than being short sleeves, there'd be more of a 3/4 sleeve instead, and it'd be like a fitted, not a tight fitted, but you know, like a straight sleeve without an excess of sleeve, as opposed to the penny dress, which is a short shirt sleeve. I don't know if there's a bit of gather to that one as well, which I don't know if I want gather because it's a flannel shirt, so it wants to be more shirt style, but I don't want to have like a cuff on a 3/4 sleeve, so I think it'll just be like hemmed. I don't know, I'm gonna wait and see once I've got the rest of the dress done as to how to do the sleeves. I might end up having to draft something myself, so I need to sort out which pieces I need and get these pieces cut out. Another thing I'd thought about doing was a half placket rather than a full button down. This is a shirt pattern that I got to make a half placket shirt for John. I haven't used it yet, so I would have to cut the pieces out. And I thought about using the collar and half placket off this because I really like these buttons, which I would have liked to have used, but I only have the 5. Instead, what I'm going to have to use for a full button down are these buttons. These are the only ones I've got that are even close to this dress. I mean, I could have a look online and see what I can find, but I'd rather use what I've got. Maybe I'll strike lucky and find that my placket is on the blue section of the fabric, because I think they'll be okay on the blue, but because they're quite a bright blue, I'm worried that they're going to be too much on the orange. So I think I'm just going to have to be not clever, but you know, mindful of where I cut the pattern pieces out for the dress and match up the front placket with the blue stripe for these buttons instead. I'm sure I'll find a use for these at some point. These were just picked up from the charity shop, these are. But I do like the shade of blue that they are. I managed to find some different buttons in my Nana's old button tin, so I'm hoping that they're going to look okay on there, rather than those big bright blue buttons that I wasn't sure on. So they look a lot better. They're a bit more subtle. Because I'd rather not have to buy some more buttons when I have tons of buttons. So I think I'm going to go with these. And yeah, now I've just got to hope that I have enough fabric to be able to cut out these pieces of dress and not have to piece them. Because I only have 2 meters of this fabric, but it is quite wide. I think it's 52 inches. So let's hope that I can do it. Well, I know I've got enough fabric. It's whether or not I can match up the patterning at the side seams. Yeah, that would bug me if it doesn't. So I've matched up the bodice of the penny dress piece with the dress front. I think it's the front. Yes, the dress front of the new look pattern, and I've matched up the line of the waistband for both patterns. Obviously they're in a completely different place, but they are, you know, level with each other, and that's the same that goes with the, I don't know if it's going to show very well up on camera, but the grain line for this pattern matches up with the grain line for the penny pattern. And what I will do is I will cut the fabric to the same shape as the penny dress for the collar and button band, but when it comes to the shoulder side, the arm side, I'll be doing the same arm side as the new look dress, and I will ignore all this, and then I will cut the dress, the outer edge of the dress out and the bottom for the new look. And what I will do is, when I do the front here, I will cut along this line, but I will extend and follow the line, the kind of the shape of the new look dress, and cut it to the same shape, so I get the same silhouette, but it will have all of this area for the front placket for the buttons. And the back piece, I will just do very similar thing. I will use the, oh, where have I put it? The yoke, the back yoke piece for the penny dress, and I will overlay it on the new look dress best I can, and I will do the same as I've done for this one. I got a new toy in the post, and I'll probably talk about it on the podcast, but this is a weaving machine, like a darning machine, for weaving patches on either fabric or on woolens. So this I'm going to use for darning socks, and I'm going to struggle to show this with one hand, but the idea is that you put this wooden disc into the item you want to darn, and then you put, so that it's like that, the fabric's kind of wrapped over the top of this, and then you slide this curved bit onto the ridge that goes around the disc, and then you hold it all together with an elastic band around there and over the top of that, and then that gives you kind of an area to weave with. And these little hooks, they're angled, and you kind of weave your thread or your yarn up and down, so you like sew into the bottom of the item you want to darn. So you pick up a bit and then you bring your thread up and then back down, and then you stitch into it and then up and back down, and so on and so forth, all the way across, so that when you come to weave that way with your thread or with your wool, the idea is that it lifts one leg of each up and down depending upon which direction you have your hooks pointing. So you would weave it through and then you push them over the other way like that, and it turns the hooks the other direction, and then it will lift up the other leg of the up and down so that you can weave backwards, and you can just push your threads down like you would if you were weaving on a big proper loom. It basically just works like a little wee loom, and at the edge of each, like before you pass your yarn or thread through, you kind of pick up a stitch or a piece of fabric at this side, and before you weave the next line, and then you pick up and then you weave back and forth and back and forth, and then when you get to the end you'd kind of stand all your hooks upright like this, yeah, and then you would lift that off of your live loops from the top of here, and you just stitch them across into your fabric or sock or whatever, and you have a woven patch across whatever needs darning. So this isn't like a speed weave, this is just a cheap one off Amazon, because I can't afford a speed weave and they are really hard to get hold of even if I wanted one. I have no idea why there is a knitting machine hook in here, so I don't need that. And it comes with a darning needle, quite a long one, which is not going to focus very well, but it's quite a long one, but it's got quite a small eye on the end, which obviously is designed for threads or like embroidery threads for darning fabric rather than wool, but I'll just use a regular darning needle for darning my socks because I have a lot of socks to darn. I think I'm going to have to wait until tomorrow to do some more sewing on my dress because it's getting on a bit and I need food and rest.